Hello, this is Wolfram Müller from Speed for Projects talking. Welcome to the how-to for the critical chain in an Excel. It's all about how to do planning and execution management according to critical chain. So yeah, let's have fun in the next minutes. I will show you through the Excel and all the features. Now we are at the execution management. It's all about the buffer management and the fever curve. And the fever curve is the game-changing element of critical chain because it visualizes the progress and the buffer consumption, and the team is managing every day according to this. I will show the execution management, how it works, how it starts, the progress, how it's calculated, and how it's done in the Excel. What are the statuses of the tasks and the typical use cases, setting something in progress, the remaining duration, feedback all the time, subtask management, everything you need to really do buffer management according to critical chain. So it's exactly like we left it before. Now we are going in execution mode, and you see in the fever curve nothing. And that's okay, because we did not start execution right now. Here on the right side you will see some parameters you can configure for the Excel. It's where these lines are and some other stuff I will tell in a different video. Important is this button at the bottom. If you did the planning and if you are somehow completed, then you can push the button, and this will ensure that all the history data and everything is reset, and after a few seconds everything is reset to 0 and the project is clear. Typically you have to rename it. Here, my first CCPM project. So fine with it. So that's all of preparation. And now the second button is coming to life. So the left button is only doing the planning, and the right button is doing the planning and is updating the fever curve. So if you push this button, you do all the calculations, or the Excel is doing it, and then it will show you your first dot in the fever curve. And it's exactly where we expect it. At 0, 0, because we are at day 0, no buffer consumption and no progress. And what you are seeing, the Excel is writing somehow a history. Every day you do execution management and push the button, the progress is calculated and the buffer consumption, and that's it. Typically in critical chain you do not check every day, or you do execution management every day, but you don't show it in the diagram because you will have a lot of points and movements up and down. So there's a second table here on the right side that shows the week status, and in the diagram the week is shown. So that's it for now. And now we are already in execution management. And in execution management, two columns are very important. That is the planning, that's done. But now you're here in these 3 columns. It's the status of the work package, the remaining duration, and some comments. And you already see one thing. The Excel recognize which work packages can be started. So the normal status of a work package or a task is not to be started. It's not started at all. And this is not started, but it's ready to start. So if you are doing execution management, the first thing is to go through the work packages and set the right status. IP stands for in process, and that's it. I will show you one thing. If you now do an update of the plan, you will get some informations. In this case, in line 4, that's the task we are working on, the remaining duration is below a day. And that makes no sense in critical chain. So in the moment you set a task to in process, you have to do a re-estimation of how long you think that the work will do in working days. That's very normal. I don't know whether you remember the original estimation, but you don't have to care in critical chain about the original estimation anymore. It's just about doing the estimation. Maybe someone is sick or something else is wrong, you don't know in the planning. But in execution it really is important. So you sit together with your team, or as project manager, maybe you know already. Typically you talk with the people, and after talking you update the remaining duration. So let's have a short re-estimation. In this case, you don't know anything else, so you estimate still 6 days. So you can update the fever curve, and now you will of course see something interesting. The current plan is now changing, and you see something else. You already consumed some buffer. As you remember, the original estimation was 6 days. Then we cut the project plan by 2/3. And if you re-estimate 6 days, that means nothing else that you already consumed some buffer. In this case you're in yellow, so no big issue. So that's the first day. Typically you do it really every day. So let's move in time a little forward and think we are now on the 2nd of October. And you already see the green indicator for the next day is moved forward. And you already, you also again have to re-estimate now. What really helps for doing the estimation is having some kind of a checklist. So very often we just write in the comment section what we have to do. Here it's a software program, so we have to do some scribbles. After this, check the API, and then design database or something like that. Design database. So, and this helps to estimate how long it takes. Some customers just write behind how long it takes. 2 days. Check the API will take 1 day. Design database, maybe 3 days or something like that. It's not going to 6. So that's the first learning. So you already know. Okay, I have 1 day. Done scribble, so 1 day is left. 1 day for the API, and 3 for database. So okay, it's no problem. The remaining duration is 5 working days, and you don't have to do it for the not started tasks, of course, because it's just the open task who are interesting. And every time you did execution management, and execution management is going through the subtasks, doing remaining estimation duration, and changing the status, and that's it. And you now see, okay, on the 2nd day, we did not consume any buffer anymore, but we are 1 day further in time. So we are now at 11% of progress and 25% of buffer consumption. And that's all. And that's the way it goes on. Maybe on the next day, so 1 day further, the scribbles are done. Easy. And maybe you had already a little time to check the APIs, and APIs were exactly as you thought. And oh, the design is not the right, the design is better. So you can start design, and you estimated 3 days. So it can be also like this. It does not have to count linearly down, but maybe you just need 3 days. So, and let's have a look what's happening. So now you have progress, of course, in the fever curve, and you have some buffer regain because you saved 1 day. And at this point, wow, perfect. Huh? We consumed 1 day buffer in the beginning, and now we have all the buffer back. That's cool. That's the way project managers like it. Yes. Okay. We did some strange thing because we worked on this bank holiday. Fine with it. So now we have maybe Friday. Friday is a good day. It's a 4th. The Friday is the 4th. So everything went fine. One thing back, 1 day down, and you already see how it works. Every day, just checking the remaining duration, and it's much easier to check it every day than once a week. And you see, perfect. We are in green. Everything's fine. Okay, now we are on Monday, on the 7th. We did not work, and on Monday, the designer of the database is sick. No one knows where it is. He drank too much or something like that. So the remaining duration is not 2. You think that the day will be lost. So you estimated 3 days. That's real life. It happens. And in this case, okay, not so much progress, but buffer consumption. And as you see, it's always like this. It looks always, it takes always the last combination in the diagram, but always the Friday or the last day in the week to show the diagram. So that's real life. The plan is going on. Okay, next day, developer is back, and he's a cool one. So he simply needs 2 days, and you gain progress without buffer consumption. So now let's see what's happening. Easy. Maybe on the 10th, what you're seeing is that regardless of the planning, the dots here are showing today plus 2 working days. So in the moment you're switching a task to in progress, it takes the starting date when you first switched to in progress, and for the end date it takes today plus remaining duration. So now we are on the 10th, and on the 10th, I hope it's not Friday. The 10th is a Thursday, fine. The design is done. So everything is checked off. And of course it's finished. And in this case, warning, in line 4, if you choose status finished, then there should not be a remaining duration anymore. So you can update the plan right now, it's finished. And what you now see is that the next 2 work packages are ready to start, because they have the predecessor work package 10. This is done, it's shown like green. So the next 2 are yellow. That means they are ready to start. You're doing execution management, so you can push the update button as often as you want. But of course, you will start with this work package. With this work package, you can wait 8 days. No problem, you don't have to start this, but this is started, of course. And here you have, of course, function A, you have B, do some tests, and so on. So you have again a small checklist. You can do that, by the way, in the planning, but you can do it in the moment you open a work package, easy. And in the moment you set a work package to in progress, then you have to estimate. I don't know anymore how long we estimated. Maybe it takes 10 working days. That's it. So I push the fever curve button and I will get my point in the fever curve. So, oh, that's an interesting signal, by the way. That means if we really take, if it needs 10 days, then we are at the border of the red zone. And if you are going to red zone, it's always a very strong indicator that you have to do some buffer again. But in this case, everything is fine. On the 11th of October 2019, you do again the execution management, and the development team states 9 is fine, everything is good. The function A is not developed right now, who cares, we deliver it tomorrow or whenever. But the estimate is going down, so we are in the yellow zone, everything's fine. Okay, you don't have to go here in day steps. Maybe you don't have the time on Monday and Tuesday to do the execution management, so you do it on Wednesday. It's the 16th in this case, and that's very typical. The project manager is 2 days off on vacation, and of course he's going back to the developers, and I say, oh guy, something went wrong, and it's still 9 days. Yeah, we smoked something funny or something like this, and we were not able to do some programming, had headache or whatever. And now you're in the big red zone. That means you're in trouble, and that's a moment we talk about buffer regain measures, how to bring the project back into the yellow zone. In this case, they promised to finish the function with a night shift. You can do that, of course. And on the next day, function A is finished, and they already finished B. It made so much fun to work with pizza and Coke, so they are really down maybe to 7 or something like that, and that's a buffer regain measure. It's not always so easy to spend some pizza and Coke. Sometimes you really have to do stuff. Maybe you have to do some preparation or help the team or shut the doors so no one disturbs or something like that. But that's important. That's the responsibility of the project team to find measures to go back. In this case, let's have a look where we are. We are on Friday, so the next execution management, no, we are at Thursday's next execution management is at the 18th, and very often it's like this. Okay, now they're in alert mode, they know they are red. Okay, the tests they still have to do, but they have an idea. try to use a different idea. And if this works, maybe it's getting better. Today it's not the time to see that, so they just spend 1 day, and the estimate is 1 day less. And I tell you a little, like a story, like it is a real project, but it's really very often like this. So now the Friday dot is here, everything's fine. Back to the plan. Now we are at, I think, the 21st. It's a Monday, and on Monday they really said, okay, fine, we found the idea worked, so we are down to 3. We just have to do the tests and everything's good. Now it's getting more or less critical. This documentation has to be done. Okay. Okay, you try to find the documentation guy. Yeah, he's there, but he has to work on a different thing. So he says, okay, I need 5 days, but I start this afternoon. I promise to do whatever is necessary. Now it can be that the critical chain moved already, because the documentation is now the most critical part. In this case, I believe it's more or less the same. No, the documentation guys are already the ones who need 2 days more, and you see that in the Fourier curve, of course, because now they are consuming the buffer. Let's have a look. It's still in red, but if it's in red, you have to do some buffer regain. That means on the next day, it's the 22nd, the top management decided to set 2 people on this to regain some buffer. The developers are processing fine, and now we have a look what the Fourier curve said. You must be something in yellow again. Oh, also in green, because everything's going fine. Let's have a check for the plan. You really recovered some time. Developer and documentation will finish next day on the 23rd, and then the project is back on track. On the 23rd, of course, and that's very normal, the developers found some bugs, the writers have 1 day left, and it's always like this. It's doing execution management is asking the people what do they estimate, how long does it take, and you see the Fourier curve is going up and down. On the 24th, I think that is a Friday. No, 25th, 24th. The next day, the documentation is maybe done. Oh, they had 1 left. They are good at writing, and the developer has 1 day left. That's it. That's live. So the next dot in the Fourier curve. It's not looking bad, by the way. It's something in yellow, I think. And you can use it the other way around. If you are in red, then you can think about what measures you have to undertake to come back to yellow. So you can play a little around with the remaining duration to find out how many days you have to save. And if you know the cost of delay, of course, of the project, then you know how many money you can spend to gain a day back. If you have a cost of delay of maybe 5,000 euros a day or $1 a day, and you have a measure that costs 500 euros or dollars a day, then it makes absolutely sense to spend this 500 days, because every day costs you 5,000, and 500 is much cheaper, and you will gain 4,500 euros by doing this measure. And you see now on the 25th, the next one is ready to start. And I don't have to go in detail. You set it on in progress. It's an end-to-end test, and it's something like 3 days. You have 100 tests left at the beginning, and you have to count down. You can do something like 30 tests per day. So you know a little, okay, it's something around 3 days. So let's update the fever curve. And let's have a look. Now you are deep in green, fine, everything is fine. But as you know, testing is always a tricky element. So on Monday or on Tuesday, you will see none of the tests are passed. So you still have 100, and that means you're going to red. Unless you have some buffer left, everything's fine. That looks a little critical if the curve is going such a way up. It's a little, the pulse is going on. Yeah, that's normal in life. I've seen projects like this a lot. On the 31st, maybe it's a little better. You have 60 tests left, but that means 2 days still. Let's have a look whether we have to speed up, whether development has to test too. It's also possible to do this. It's all allowed to do buffer again. Okay, it's not bad, but you're in red. That means on the 32nd, I don't know whether this is possible. No, 32nd is not possible. Stupid. So we are on Friday. Let's have a look on Monday, the 4th of November. The 4th of November, and it's 1 day left in test. There's only 20 left or something like that. And what we are doing this time, I worked all the time in the Excel, but normally you do a copy. Every day you did execution management to have a safe old version. And what you're seeing right now, it's like in every normal project plan. The buffer is consumed, so it's now finished. Cool. Every test is done, and of course, you can now do the party. It's in progress. You can set it in progress. So, and it's 1 day left, and now we look at the fever curve. And you are at the right upper corner, and that's perfect, fine. The buffer is there for consumption. Oh, in this case, 1 day buffer is left, so you can elongate your party by a day, having 2 day parties. So, and that's everything about critical chain. Execution management, I do not have much more to tell you. We have a very typical fever curve, going to red in the first half of the project, then do some buffer again, and in the end at the upper right corner. You have the plan. Oh, now it's finished. Next day it's finished on the 6th of November, and everything's fine. In progress, it's wrong. So fever curve, and now it fits because we did party all night long. and the fever curve is at 100, 100, and that's a perfect project. Fine done in the first time. So that's it. And if you do not have the file right now, in the description of YouTube, you will see a link to a website where you find also a little more description and a download link, or you can simply send a mail to me, and I will send to you the Excel. And maybe if you are interested, you can of course follow the Speed for Projects channel, and in the channel you will find a video list about the Smart Pipeliner, and this is also an Excel that allows you to do really portfolio optimization, find your bottleneck team, stagger your projects, and find the projects that are best for the business. So the Speed for Projects channel is full of interesting videos and tools. Click around, yeah, and follow. And if you want the Excel mail or link, click. The only thing I expect is if you're using it and if you are getting in trouble, ask me for help, because I'm very interested in having even more fever curves from different projects all over the world. Thank you for this, for your time. I hope it helped you to really use the CCPM in an Excel in the full functionality. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.